What's up, guys? Kingu here, and today Kingu's playing ATS Trekmush. Trekmush is, for those who don't know, a Star Trek themed mush. For anyone who doesn't know what mush is, it is a text-based game. I have just logged in with my new character. His name is Newbie. You can see that I have no desk here, no description. I have nothing. I've just started the game. I've just logged in. So I'm going to go through the whole beginning part of this game, see how everyone proceeds through that whole process, and then we're going to work our way up. See how far we go with character generation and that whole thing. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing you probably want to do, because ATS is a very colorful mush, you probably want to set yourself up with some colors. So I'm going to set myself color and ANSI, and you can see colors now. Colors that were not there before. As you can see, scroll up here, no colors here, no colors here, and now we have colors. Yeah, like I said, ATS is a very colorful mush. You really probably want to set yourself up with colors. You start off in the game in the OOC area, out of character area. I'm going to go ahead and go into the information room. There we go. Here we have information about the website and the wiki. The wiki is pretty good. It's getting a lot better. A lot of player development going on there, so you definitely should probably check that out. And you can see that here you've got instances to the different various organizations within the game that allow player characters: Bajorans, Cardassians, Federation, Ferengi, and Klingon. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Federation because that's what everyone voted for. And that was what we're going to start our first character as. Probably make a new character down the road, Klingon, and then sort of mix it up, start different orgs, check out different, options. Right now this is going to be sort of a real basic entry-level thing. For this, we're going to go into the new player experience. As you can see there, one of the entrances is for the new player experience. This is where new players go to get started in the game. Like you can see here in the description of the room, to join a faction, enter the new player experience store. So we're going to do that. New. Here we go. You guys can read. I'm not going to read everything else to you here, but we're going to go ahead and get ourselves started. As you can see, set me color, set me ANSI. We've done both of those. We are going to check out our races. Because we're going to be a Federation, I'm going to be real basic, and I'm going to race myself as human. Boom. This is the race description for all of the humans, starting stats, some societal information. You can type at race for any race that's out there, and you can see the information, different starting stats. Some of them have telepathic information. Here you can see Vulcans. They have a room telepathy, meaning they can do telepathic stuff room to room. But as I said earlier, at race list, we're going to go human. Okay? So at set race, me equals human. Boom. And again, since you might be joining a different organization, you can always see what empire, what org allows you to do what races. In our case, we're going to do UFP, Federation. That's the race list for that. This race is Bajor. You can see kind of where the breakdown is for everything. There's tons of humans out there, but whatever, we don't care. Once we've set ourselves color and we've set our races, we're going to go ahead and go to the next area. Stage 2, descriptions. Here you can see some descriptions. They have sample descriptions for each. We'll look at the 3 various ones. Inspect, if I could type inspect 1. As you look at this male, just a basic description. Here you can see some cool colors involved in that. Inspect 3. Now 3, here's a random desk from a player admin. This is kind of cool. You can inspect 3 and see people's various descriptions. Here's Captain Daniel Blondell. You can see various players' desks. So in our case, we're going to go ahead and describe ourselves as human. Before you stands a human male. He has brown hair and brown eyes. What else should he have, people? His pale skin could use some tanning. What else did we see in some of those samples? Steel blue eyes. He has a brown beard that clings to his face, but is neatly cut and trimmed. His body is not overly muscular. This is all boring for you guys, I'm sure, but we're gonna just step through the whole process so you guys can get a feel for it. We'll go ahead and put a carriage return in there and a tab in there, and we'll do his clothing next. He's wearing... Now you have to remember the clothing part of this, because there's sort of some shortcuts we can take later on down the road to make clothing even easier. A green tracksuit that looks to be made of velvet and is loose, fitting around the body. Now the thing with the descriptions is you have to have a 100-character description, so we're going to have to be a little bit probably more detailed than this. You know, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it. If you're the new character, it's unfortunate, but he has black boots that are well polished and reflect the lights around the room nicely in them. What else should we do? How about he is rather short in stature for a human, for a man. For a Homo sapien. I'm going to cheat a little bit here. What other things do we see? Oh, symmetricals are good enough. The rest of the features on his face are symmetrical and well balanced. Good enough. Let's call it good enough. Okay. We've done our description. We're going to move on to stage 3. Stage 3 is a combat walkthrough. Character generation is a very, I don't want to say complicated process, because it isn't really that complicated. But here is some of the basics. We're going to just do some general trading. We're not going to do anything real hand-to-hand combat. So we're going to go with the specialist class. Specialists are for space combat, as it says here. Warriors are for hand-to-hand combat and have extra points in using various feats. Specialists are all skills for space combat. And hybrids are a little weaker specialists, a little bit stronger, you know, but stronger warriors than specialists, obviously. So they're kind of in half and half. Here you can see the various help files. We can start with help at combat. That shows a lot of stuff here. Car help class, that will give us the basic, and like I said, we're going to go car class, select, what did we say, specialist, boom, level 1. So you can see, typing car sheet, you can see our character. We have 30 unspent points. So this will kind of walk us through. And again, you can look at each one of these inspectables, and it's a very nice walkthrough written by the creator of the combat system. Car help comb. Car help comb gives you how to different combat attacks, that sort of a thing. Which again, we're not going to go into right now. We're going to go ahead and car skill list. We're going to buy some skills here. We're going to look here, car help combat. My dog is here underneath me, doing weird things. What are you doing, dog? Trust me, she's doing weird things. Car help ATTR, that's, if I could type. Car ATTR list. Okay, so you can see we have 30 attribute points buying. We're going to car ATTR by strength. 1, 2, 3. Car ATTR by whiz. 1, 2, 3. Car ATTR by int. 1, 2, 3. Car ATTR by dex. 1, 2, 3. Car ATTR by con. 1, 2, 3. ATTR by charisma. 2, 3. So you can see that we've done basically 3 of everything. It gives us some generic ones. And again, if you look at your character sheet, you'll see some of the specifics of what each character does. Intelligence gives you extra skill points per level. Skill points being, again, for combat, stuff like that. Wisdom, console skills. Constitution gives you hit points retroactively per level. Charisma is used for trade, for when you're buying and selling goods through the economy system. That gives you extra bonuses on price and stuff like that. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm just going to buy 2 more of each and get up to 13. How about that? Buy STR 1, 2. Car ATTR by int 1, 2. Now there's an easier way to do this, of course. If you're at all familiar with coding within the game, you could do this cheaper. You could go at do list, dex, con, and charisma. Do list is like does everything that you tell it to in the beginning to what you do at the end, and we could go car ATTR by number. That will buy 1 of each and 1 of each again. So ATTR list, you can see we've spent 0 points remaining, and we have 13s and everything. Nothing stellar. Our character's basically pretty generic. But again, for the basis of what we're talking about here, this is good enough. Now, console skills are used for tunings. Not only tunings, but being able to man a console. You can't use a helm or a tactical console without owning at least a basic helm or tactical skill. That's fairly generic. But one of the cool things you can do down the road is you can tune the systems. If you are an excellent helmsman and you have a ton of points in helm, you can tune the helm systems, get a little bit more movement out of the ship, a little bit more maneuverability out of the ship, maybe something like that. Engineering lets you get more out of your main reactors and your auxiliary reactors, that sort of a thing. It's pretty straightforward as far as what each does, and we'll get into tunings down the road. But again, I'm not going to worry about a lot of that. I'm going to buy the same amount of each sex, psi, fighter, trans, car, skill, buy. I did it wrong. Because you have to type the whole thing out, I think. That's alright. Car, skill, buy, helm. Nav. Car skill list. You have to type the whole thing out. Car skill by helm navigation. Car skill list. Wow, am I really oh, because it's a console skill. I'm such a doofus. Car cons by. How about that? Let's go back and do my do list, because that needs to be a cons. There we go. So we bought 1 of every skill. Car cons list. There we go. We got 1 in everything. 1 more transporter skill. We have 1 in everything. So that's the basics. We'll be able to man every console, and we'll look at some of the tunings down the road. You know, for a basic newbie, you're probably in the beginning, your best bet is to tweak your engineering. And maybe your damage. Engineering lets you overload your reactors, get a little more speed out of your ship. So when you're doing trading in the very early stages of the game, that's really, really useful. Like I said, it doesn't have to be. You can really do whatever you want. You know, there's a lot of freedom in this game as far as how you want to build your character. There's people with tons of nav, tons of engineering. There's traders who are just charisma out the wazoo. You know, persuasion skills, all this kind of stuff. They go real crazy. And you can always reset your character with merit points down the road. We'll get into merit points later. I'm not going to go through the entire inspectable list for all the combat walkthrough. You guys can do that on your own. Okay, so now we're in our last thing, and you can see, oops, right in the beginning, sex. We have not set our sex. We are bad people about that, people. That set me sex equals male. Perfect. Now you can look, and we are male, and we are human. 2 green lights. We're almost there. Currently, my description needs work. Please add to it. So it doesn't have 100 unique words, as you can see here. My description should include at least 100 unique words, and it needs work. It needs work. So we're going to do a little work on the description here. As you can see, I'm going to add a desk me equals think percent and looked at you. That's sort of a generic mushing thing. Now we can see. Did I just? I did it wrong. Look at me. Oh, I'm such a doofus. Alright, let's go back our luckily, we did this all in Mush Client. So we've got a long list of back scrolling. So now when you can see I look at myself, you can see newbie looked at you. You can also see there's kind of some, because I have a decent charisma, I'm slightly attractive. There's descriptors in there for all of the higher and lower level character sheet information. So if I'm not charismatic, I won't be very attractive. You know how it goes. Needless to say, I'm Kingu. I'm very attractive. So let's go back and work on our description a little bit. He walks with an air of confidence and of excellence. How's my description now? It still needs work. I'm going to go ahead and pause the game here and do a little bit more work on my description, because you guys don't need to see me writing descriptive phrases about myself. And we'll be right back to finish the process of character generation. We're back, and I screwed up. I recorded 5 minutes on my other monitor. So, yeah. Anyways, here's where we left off. I'm going to do this through back scroll so I don't have to retype everything. Our description is acceptable. So we went ahead and looked at it. Not a big deal. Again, you know, the descriptions in the beginning don't have to be insane. You should spend some time to really focus on that, though. That's good character development. So the next thing we did was we looked at the inspectables in the room: channels, magazines, and datapad. Channels, these are your channels that you should be joining. The IC global channels, the in-character global channels are alpha quadrant, beta quadrant, delta quadrant, gamma quadrant subspaces. And then our subspace fleet, which is sort of a emergency broadcast system, if you will, that kind of a thing. I went ahead and joined them all by typing in @chan/join and the name. Next is our magazines. These are your admin magazines for where administration stuff comes out, a public, you know, changes, that kind of thing. IC mags and OOC mags, jokes and personal stuff. And here's all the magazine help systems, which we got through again. Help magsys, or this one right here. This lists the entire magazine system and all of the commands that go with it. It's very detailed, but it's something you probably want to look into eventually. And then lastly, we looked at the data pads. Data pads are just like you would see in the Star Trek world, these little iPad mini kind of things. These iPad mini kind of things that possess all this information on there. You can see through the help file here. We went ahead and went through the creation of the process. We created an app pad. You can see here's the creation object. Then I did exactly like I was told. I set it no command, I set it trust, I parented it, just like these 3 commands tell you to do, and then I typed pad setup. It says installation is complete, and this is what it looks like. And then here is the help file for it all. And again, the help file is not necessarily that big of a deal. It goes into a lot of the details on how things work, and we'll get into that later, you know, some of the details behind that. And then we went ahead and joined an organization. We went ahead and said, okay, I want to join the United Federation of Planets. I typed register federation, and here we are. This is where newbie is now. He's standing in the immigration office in San Francisco. And we've been welcomed by Jack Carson and Vic. Both of them said hi. And we'll say hi back. Hey, yeah. So we're here in the immigration office. Now what do we do? Well, you know what? Let's resume that on the next episode. If I can manage to record this properly, then this will be fine, and we'll resume this next episode. All right, guys. See